Dewan MPPJ, Ceramah DAP. Hi. I'm talking to the machine. Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, isn't this like impressive? This is a massive trailer. We call this the Ubah Dream Machine. Ubah Transformer, I don't know about that. But if you see, there's a smaller Ubah truck there. They are selling a lot of merchandise. So you can also pay a visit, buy some soft toys, show some support. So like I said just now, we still have a lot of speakers for you. Oh look, like nice row of balloons here. So allow me to introduce our next speaker. She's also a very beautiful young lady. She's the Penyelaras Don Bukit Gasing and the Political Secretary to Lim Kit Siang. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Saudari Kasthuri Patto.
Good evening everyone.
Hello.
Selamat petang, salam sejahtera. Taja hao?
Hao.
Oh. Salam Deepawali, salam bersih, and salam Ubah to everyone gathered here from near and far. Please give yourself a round of applause. You have braved the rain, you have braved the jam, you have braved no parking, which is a feat by Malaysian standards. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great honor to share a small portion of this stage. I hope I didn't do that. To share a small portion of this stage with such hard frontliners. If you remember, Rafizi mentioned in one of his forums before that he was a substitute to other frontliners. Today, Saudara Rafizi, if you are here and you are listening, you are a frontliner. We are the substitutes. Friends of Ubah, it is indeed a great pleasure that the Ubah Dream Machine has decided to make its maiden stop here in the city of Petaling Jaya. And especially that Deepawali is just around the corner. Deepawali commemorates the return of Lord Rama, along with Sita and Lakshmana, from a 14-year exile and destroying the rule of the demon king Ravana. His return brought about this celebration of lights. Darkness represents oppression, greed, corruption, bigotry, lies, defamation, and misuse of fund and misgovernance. Lighting a lamp destroys that and gives wisdom to knowledge, according to Hinduism. Symbolically, the light of Deepawali will be lit again when every patriotic Malaysian goes out to cast his vote in the next general election. When the light of a Deepawali lamp is lit, it brings hope. It allows you to dream for a better life, for a better future. That, my friends here, will be what you will be doing when you cross out your desired parties in the upcoming general election. Barisan Nasional has devalued each and every vote for the past 55 years. gerrymandering, money politics, career assassination, character assassination has been their ball game for 55 years. Am I right? But I understand, looking at this crowd here, that we are going to crush the dreams of Barisan Nasional to go to Putrajaya in the next election. Are you with me?
Yes!
We will crush their dreams. Are you with me?
Yes!
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, we have seen on the 9th of July last year, over 50,000 Malaysians, from young to old, every color, shape under the sun, regardless of religion, race, creed, political understanding, gender, come together, side by side, shoulder to shoulder, to champion their constitutional right for clean, free and fair election. Is that wrong? Is that wrong?
No!
It is your right. You deserve clean, fair and free election. But the government doesn't think so. Because that would mean they can be knocked off from their throne. And that will be disastrous. Because all their dirt will come out. I mean, no doubt with people like Wabito Lipua, with Saudara Rafizi and other leaders, exposing them constantly, hot on their heels. There are still things, I believe, we still don't know, that they have kept quiet, protected. Malaysians are not stupid. This is a message I'd like to give to Barisan Nasional today. We've had enough of your nonsense. This crowd here today that has braved the rain, that has braved the traffic, that has braved their Saturday night, is a message to Barisan Nasional that their 55 years of power is over. It has come to an end. Am I right?
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, this year, 28th of April, saw, I believe, not maybe according to Utusan's version, but I believe more than 250,000 Malaysians came together. A lot of fence-sitters I saw who said, what's wrong? I don't belong to any political party, but I deserve clean, fair and free elections. That's why I'm here. And once again, they had been shot at with tear gas, sprayed with chemically laced water from water cannons, manhandled, bashed up, defamed. All for what? The government feels we are trying to overthrow them. Well, maybe they are right. I think the time has come. 55 years have been handed on to them. Why are Malaysians still living in such a condition? Why is it so hard to make ends meet? I find it hard to make ends meet. I can't blame my parents though. Sometimes it's the mindset of the older generation. But when almost 250,000 people take to the streets to ask for something that is right, there is something seriously wrong with the system that is in existence now. Am I right? Yes. It seems to me that with all the bad publicity showered upon the protesters, they like to call us protesters of Bersih lah. I don't know why. We are there for a peaceful assembly, but they call us protesters. Never mind. It seems to me that the way the government reacted to Bersih 1, 2 and 3 shows that they do not support a clean election. They are instead supporting dirty elections. Do we still want a government like this?
No.
Do we still want a government like this?
No, go away.
Do we need a government like this?
No, go away.
Last month at the MCA General Assembly, our Prime Minister Najib Tun Razak mentioned that Pakatan Rakyat has no vision. It has no direction. Hell, they don't even have a common symbol or a logo. He said one time they point up and they say rocket. Another time they look up and they say moon. Another time they say I. Let me remind you, Mr. Prime Minister, what Malaysians did in 2008, despite not having a common symbol or a logo or a common name for a party. They denied you 5 states from your country. That's what Malaysians did. What has Barisan Nasional done with that batching, that common motto and logo? We all know who are the kingmakers in Barisan Nasional. Component parties have no say. Am I right? I would like to hear the manifesto of MCA, MIC, Gerakan in the next election. I would really like to hear it. Because I don't know what is it that they haven't told us already for 55 years. Indians have a saying. You know the toss? When you hit it on one side, you turn it around and hit it on the other side. Then when it's done, you still turn it and hit it on this side. It's back and forth over and over again. That's what they've been doing. I like to hear something new. But I doubt being a component party in Barisan Nasional will give you any space unless you put your neck out or on the chopping board. Now, I'd like to ask the government what they're so afraid of. We have just witnessed the historic elections, presidential elections in America. And who is the next president of America? The current president who was just re-elected, Barack Obama. When he took to office, the man who lost to him, Mitt Romney, sent him an SMS to congratulate him. The same thing happened in France when the new socialist leader took presidency. The ex-president texted him and said, welcome and congratulations. I'd like to throw a question to the Prime Minister of Malaysia, Datuk Seri Najib, if you're listening. Can you promise Malaysia and Malaysians a peaceful transition of power if we take Putrajaya? Isn't this all what we want? Don't we want a peaceful transition of power? If indeed rakyat didahulukan, then hak rakyat mesti dihormati. Is that right?
Yes.
And kalau hak rakyat dihormati, maka what the rakyat wants, if the rakyat wants to change of government, then you must respect it. Am I right? I hope if the press is here, you carry this to Datuk Seri Najib, just in case he doesn't read Malaysia Kini and Malaysian Insider and Rocket Haraka Keadilan. Ladies and gentlemen, Barisan Nasional is very afraid. They keep spinning lies after lies, and we are all fed up with it. They keep saying that Malays would lose power if Pakatan Rakyat comes to Putrajaya. It is not Malays who lose power. It is UMNO and their cronies who will lose power. It is not supposed to be confused as Malays will lose power. If any race loses power in Malaysia, every Malaysian loses power. We have to look beyond race politics. Barisan Nasional has tailored the minds of the older generation and maybe some of our generation, I hope not, that race is everything. It's not, I can assure you. It is being Malaysian that is everything. It is loving your country that is everything. It is doing what is right that is everything. You have that choice, friends. If Malaysians did not have that kind of courage in their hearts for change in 2008, we wouldn't have seen 5 states fall to Pakatan Rakyat and 1 taken away using cara
Mafia.
haram, cara mafia,
Mafia.
cara pintu belakang. You can say anything you want. A coup d'etat in the state of Perak. And mind you, Pakatan Rakyat was born in Perak. The coalition was formed in Perak. It's very sad. I think what happened in Perak should be an eye-opener to all Malaysians in Peninsula and in East Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, I say that now every vote counts. Please do not think that, no lah, it's okay. what will one vote count? There are some seats that were only won with 14 votes in Perak, and countless seats won with under 100 votes. That is how important your vote is. Malaysians are not known to be weak. We know when to stand in the face of adversity. GE13 will be the biggest challenge Malaysia will face for the future of our children and our children's children. Friends of Ubah, friends of Bersih, any unjust government must be fought. It is not, you should not tolerate bad governance. You shouldn't put up with it. That is why when we look at the performance of the 4 states under Pakatan Rakyat, we can see why after 55 years it is not wrong to give a chance to Pakatan Rakyat to govern Malaysia. I did not use the word rule because that's what Barisan Nasional has been doing. They rule Malaysia. We govern Malaysia. That's the difference. Friends who are gathered here, don't be afraid of change. Change will allow you to dream. Change will give you hope. Something that Barisan Nasional has no idea of, because they are so busy pleasing themselves, they are so busy stealing from the Rakyat, they are so busy fabricating the truth, and they are so busy above all protecting their cronies. Everyone knows everyone's dirt, so you have to protect each other. Now I urge you for the coming general election, with one courage in your hearts, in one solidarity, in one union, in one pakatan, literally a pakatan of rakyat, that we go to the ballot boxes and we bring the change that is needed in Malaysia, not just for you or me, but for our children and for our next generation to come. We do not need to put up with bad governance in the country. Now, what is stopping you from giving a mandate to Pakatan Rakyat? The government will constantly try to put fear in your heart, because that's what they always do. They always play the race card and the fear card. But there's nothing to fear, I can assure you. Najib said some time back that if Malaysia falls into the hands of the dreaded Pakatan Rakyat, that there would be chaos in the country, there will be unrest in the country. May 13 may repeat itself again. Now I ask you, friends here, is Penang going through a riot period? No. Is Selangor going through a riot period? No. Is Kelantan and Kedah going through a riot period? No. So what is our Prime Minister trying to say? Either I'm deaf or he's senile. We have seen performances of the 4 Pakatan Rakyat states that have shown us that goodies can be handed out to the Rakyat. Only with good governance will the state make money. That means you don't give to the Rakyat on a deficit budget. That means you don't borrow from somewhere to give to the Rakyat only because all of a sudden after 55 years you realize, hey, actually it can be done. We can give money back to the people. We can give money back to our taxpayers. If you notice closely, BRIM never existed 55 years ago. Krim, Flim, Klim, Brim, whatever lah, all those alphabet soups never existed 55 years ago. It is because that they have observed Pakatan Rakyat states handing this out to the people from the revenue, from the money that they have made. Honest, halal money that they have made, they can give back to the people. I think when you have leaders and government that don't put their hands into the cookie jar, you have the people enjoying the benefits of the state. Merakyatkan Ekonomi Selangor is a project that the state took, mind you, under Pakatan Rakyat, where they give the revenue of the state back to the people in many forms. I'm sure a lot of you all know what the state is giving. Barisan Nasional is trying to compete with that by giving you 500 ringgit after 55 years. That's 9 ringgit a year. 500 ringgit that they give you after 55 years is 9 ringgit a year. What can you buy with 9 ringgit? If you're lucky to top up another 1 more ringgit, you can get a very simple set lunch somewhere. That is the cost of your vote now. 9 ringgit a year. Can you see how it has devalued? But come next election, every Malaysian voter will be kingmaker. Every Malaysian voter will change the future and destiny of Malaysia. You must understand that. We are with you and we thank you for your support. But ladies and gentlemen, we cannot do this alone. We need to be united and we have to stick together. And I hope this momentum that I see here tonight will not end here, that the good news of what Pakatan Rakyat can do and will do for the people of Malaysia will be spread to all other Malaysians. If you have given Barisan Nasional 55 years, why don't you try 5 years for Pakatan Rakyat? Why not? I'm very optimistic about the next general election, despite rumors and speculations that it could be the dirtiest elections in the history of the country. It may be. But Malaysians know what they want, am I right? We want change. 我们要换. Am I right? 我们要换. 换什么? 换什么?
换政府.
We change the government. I've heard some people say, no, we have to change in government. I always correct them. No. You can't say change in government. Then you have the same monkeys in government, just rotated. You need a change of government. You need a change of government. Ladies and gentlemen, this crowd here sends a message to Barisan Nasional tonight that we are ready to welcome Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak for the first time in the history of Barisan Nasional as the opposition leader of the country. Can we do that? Can we do that? I think this crowd alone will give Barisan Nasional sleepless nights. They'll be thinking, what are we going to do after this? What other lies are we going to spin? I thank you again for bearing with us, with the weather, with the crowd, with the jam. I know we'll be meeting each other very soon from time to time. I hope to see y'all and many more friends of Ubah, friends of Bersih, friends of change, gathered here in one voice because we care and we love this country of ours. With that, I take leave. Thank you very much. Nandri, Sese, Vanakkam.
Ladies and gentlemen, for all who don't know, Miss Kasthuri is actually the daughter of the longest serving party stalwart, the late P.Patto. Yeah, she's definitely following her father's footsteps. So we have another speaker for you, and this time it will be a very exciting one. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the MP for Puchong, Saudara Gobind Singh.
Thank you very much. You know, I've given speeches in many places before, but not in a trailer. So this is the first time. But I guess that's what Pakatan Rakyat is all about, isn't it? Doing what people thought could never be done. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow colleagues, Saudara Tony Puah, Yang Berhormat Lawing San Kasthuri, who was just on stage, and to all of you who are present tonight, let me take this opportunity at the very beginning to wish all of you a very happy Deepawali. I have just come from a Deepawali function in Puchong, and on the way here, I managed to meet with an accident. And after meeting with the accident, the question was, what do I do with my car? And I think after a long time, it's first time, after a long time, it dawned on me that I'm actually one of those persons who are so unconnected with what's happening around. I didn't even know what to do with my car, so I've left my car in Puchong, and that's the reason why I'm only going to speak for 20 minutes, because I better go and get my car before my wife gets me. Right? So, you know, please understand, 20 minutes, but I think what is important is this, the message that we want to send to all of you here tonight. 2008, very important, always in our memory. Why? Because we all remember how it is that despite the fact that in the last 50 years, many of us here asked, would we ever see change in terms of governance? Would we ever see the Barisan Nasional take a back seat and for once in their lives listen to what the people of Malaysia have to say? This is the question that we all ask ourselves. And in 2008, I think none of us here expected or even believed that we could see the kind of results that we saw in 2008. Now, I'll be very honest to tell you that most of you here would also agree with me. We had that dream. We knew that it could happen, but we were not sure if we were going to see it happen in 2008. Now, ladies and gentlemen, why do I make mention of this at the outset? Kenapa saya nak sebut perkara ini pada permulaan ceramah malam ini? Kerana sekarang saya rasa apa yang kita perlu buat, kita perlu menilaikan balik. Kita perlu menilaikan apa berlaku dalam 4 tahun yang lalu untuk tanya persoalan yang lebih penting. Seperti mana disebut oleh saudari Kasthuri tadi. Prior to 2008, the Barisan Nasional continuously put us down. And I will explain what I mean by us as I go along. It was always the case that the opposition were only there to stir trouble. The opposition was communist. The opposition never had the interests of Malaysians in mind. This is the propaganda that was put forward by Barisan Nasional and Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, knowing that he controlled the media, he made it sure that that was the message that was sent to the people continuously. A reading of the newspapers made us wonder what kind of a country we lived in. We look at what is happening today. In 2012, we still read the mainstream papers, and we still feel the same. Every day you read the Star newspaper, you read the Times newspaper, and you wonder whether there are any good people in the opposition. In fact, the New States Times has got a portion that they quote Anwar Ibrahim's past quotes. Are you aware of that? I mean, you can quote past quotes every day for the last 2 years. That's important news to New States Times. Now let's not talk about Utusan Malaysia. No point. When you talk about Utusan Malaysia, you don't know where to stop. But the point is this. Dr. Mahathir Mohamad and the UMNO that he built, this is what they capitalized on. Because they thought that if media was on their side and they could continuously feed the people with the propaganda that they wanted the people to hear, then it was more or less certain that never would the people rise against the Barisan Nasional government. That is what Dr. Mahathir wanted. But unfortunately for Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, the man who's responsible for destroying democracy in this country, for destroying the judiciary in this country, unfortunately for him, there was a media revolution. A revolution which brought the people above the kind of politics that Barisan Nasional advanced. So we have, nowadays, we have internet. We have portals, Malaysia Kini, Malaysian Insider, and so forth. This is the weapon that resulted or led to the victory of President Barack Obama earlier, before his re-election again. But Barisan Nasional never thought that in 2008 the people would stand up, the people will rise, because they have with them information, the truth. They know what it is the Barisan Nasional government is about, and they understand why it is we in Pakatan Rakyat fight against them. Ladies and gentlemen, I am no different from you. I am a member of parliament today because of you. I am a member of parliament today because I was one of them many years ago who had to sit back and take the nonsense from Barisan Nasional, read their propaganda, know it is not true, and then decide I had to fight against them for the betterment of my children and the future of this country. The same when with Saudari Kasthuri. I remember during Operation Alang days, I knew Kasthuri, but it was a very different Kasthuri. Kasthuri was Kasthuri. But this is where I say, after years of putting us through the kind of governance that they want to, today we stand here. So what was it in 2008? Apakah mesej yang disampaikan oleh Barisan Nasional untuk menakutkan lagi rakyat? Menyatakan kepada mereka sekiranya Pakatan Rakyat mengambil alih kerajaan, sudah tentu kerajaan Malaysia ini akan bankrupt, muflis, habis. Sudah tentu semua akan habis. They said that in 2008 and they are still saying it today. They are still saying it today.
Stupid.
I can tell you one thing. Barisan Nasional has got it wrong. With what is happening today, there's only one thing that will habis in the next election to come, and that is Barisan Nasional itself. We Malaysians, we understand. We understand that it is not easy. We live in a country, a multiracial backgrounds, many diverse types of people, diverse types of religion. It is not easy. People who speak different languages, people who understand different cultures. It is not easy to bring us together. Now what has happened in the last 50 years in Barisan Nasional is a policy of divide and rule. What do? They have Barisan Nasional, which talks about parties which exist for certain races. So you've got MCA for the Chinese, MIC for the Indians, and UMNO for the Malays. And after this, after 50 over years, Najib Tun Razak suddenly decides that he wants to talk about one Malaysia. One Malaysia. You know, even the flag, and I've said this many times, I say it again because I think it's important that we remind ourselves. You see this big number 1 with the Malaysian flag in it. That's one Malaysia. You ask yourself, I ask all over the place, there's no other country in the world that has a 1 before it. There is none. There is no one Singapore, there is no one India, there is no one China, one Australia, or one UK. None. So a country in which the government decides that they have to advertise themselves as being a one government. Ya, saya katakan, bila kita lihat di Malaysia, kita lihat bagaimana Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak apabila menjadi Perdana Menteri, perkara pertama yang beliau mengumumkan adalah bagaimana beliau berhasrat untuk menubuhkan One Malaysia. Persoalan yang kita tanya kepada Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak adalah ini. Kalau sekarang beliau terima bahawa perlu sudah sampai masanya untuk mewujudkan One Malaysia, saya nak tanya, kerajaan Barisan Nasional sebelum daripada ini mewujudkan negara apa? So what was it before? Sekarang mereka berkata berkenaan dengan One Malaysia. Mereka sebut berkenaan dengan isu keakraban di antara pekaman. They talk about relations between the religions, the various races. Dulu apabila DAP sebut berkenaan perkara ini, senang, tangkap, masuk ISA. Bila kita menuntut dan we demanded for equal rights, extradition, all sorts of things, ISA. But now, why does Barisan Nasional say that it needs to change? Kenapa? Tuan-tuan perempuan, the message for tonight is this. Everywhere in this world, apart from Singapore, but it's also moving there, people are used to the concept of different governments. Di seluruh dunia, mana jua tempat, orang sudah tahu, sudah dengar, sudah melalui sistem dui kerajaan. Jadi apa yang berlaku adalah semasa pilihan raya terdapat dua parti politik yang bersedia untuk memerintah. Apa yang diperlukan adalah untuk kedua-dua pemimpin daripada parti politik tersebut maju kepada rakyat. Apakah hasrat mereka? Apakah yang mereka nak buat sekiranya mereka dipilih sebagai pemimpin memerintah negara tersebut? In a two-party system, all the countries, they have two parties that are ready to govern. They have leaders from those two parties who are prepared to tell the people before an election, why should you vote for me? What can I do which is better than my opponent? Macam kita lihat pilihan raya di United States, Barack Obama, Mitt Romney, kita lihat mereka adakan debat, debates. Kalau kita lihat quality debate, tidak mengapa siapa kalah, tapi isu dia, isu yang dibangkitkan. Rakyat tahu apa isu sebenar. Rakyat tahu, dapat menilaikan apakah jawapan kepada isu tersebut. Dan rakyat dapat membuat keputusan mendengar apa jawapan-jawapan terhadap isu-isu tersebut. This is normal. Dan apabila kita lihat ada pilihan raya, tak ada masalah. Ada pilihan raya, siapa menang, siapa kalah, tak ada masalah. Mereka peluk, mereka mengucapkan tahniah, dan mereka teruskan dengan kejayaan mereka masing-masing. Normal, tak ada masalah. Tapi di Malaysia, sebelum pilihan raya, kita baca surat khabar Najib Tun Razak yang cakap berkenaan dengan demokrasi, wants to make Malaysia the best democracy in the world. Kita baca surat khabar dia, hari-hari memberi sebab kenapa Pakatan Rakyat ini devil of the highest order. Dia mengatakan orang yang membuat keputusan, memilih, mengundi untuk Pakatan Rakyat, parti PAS, DAP, PKR, these people are irresponsible. So if you vote for us, you're irresponsible. If you come here and listen to ceramah, you're irresponsible. Who is irresponsible? Saya nak tanya Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak. Apa maksud kamu bila kamu mengatakan kamu nak wujudkan satu negara demokratik yang lebih besar, yang lebih canggih, untuk dinilaikan seluruh dunia sebagai demokrasi yang terbaik di dunia? Ini masalah dengan Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak. Slogan dia banyak, sehingga saya pun tak tahu. ABC banyak, 1, 2, 3 banyak. Tapi slogan itu satu, apa yang dia buat itu lain. Kalau sebenarnya kita lihat surat khabar, muka surat 1, muka surat 2, dia kata Najib Tun Razak best Prime Minister. Wang banyak dia salurkan sini, salurkan sana. Kita lihat banyak gambar-gambar, potong ribbon, macam-macam hari-hari. According to Najib Tun Razak, under Barisan Nasional now, this country is at its top of moments, the best. No problem. Tak ada masalah keuangan, tak ada masalah rasuah, tak ada masalah apa, tak ada masalah jenayah, tak ada. Don't you understand? There is no problems in Malaysia as long as Najib Tun Razak is the Prime Minister. Jadi saya nak tanya, if Najib Tun Razak's government now, Barisan Nasional, is so sure that nothing is wrong with Malaysia, there is no financial problem, there is no corruption, there is no crime and so forth, then why is he so scared of allowing us in Pakatan Rakyat to take over for 5 years? Kalau betul pemerintahan Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak ini betul tak ada masalah, bagilah kepada Pakatan Rakyat. Biar Pakatan Rakyat yang ambil alih kerajaan. Kita tengok sama ada Pakatan Rakyat boleh buat kerja yang lebih baik daripada Barisan Nasional. This is what we want to see. Simple. Tetapi apa yang kita lihat, cara dalam mana? Cara dalam mana mereka meneruskan ideologi mereka. Ladies and gentlemen, they will carry on with this until the election comes. We see what kind of leaders we deal with in Barisan Nasional. Syarizat Jalil, tak payah cakap. Saya rasa saudara Rafizi sudah datang. Sudah. Itu dia dengan Syarizat ada special relationship. Not that, no, you know what I mean. Ini sekarang kena jaga-jaga sikit. Besok utusan special relationship. Utusan maksud saya dari segi NFC lah, kalau utusan tak tahu ya. It's a lembu relationship. It's a different thing from what you all think. One of the examples, 250 million. You come to Puchong. How many people there in need of funds? Berapa ramai orang yang sudah bukan 1 tahun, 2 tahun, tapi dah 10 tahun, 20 tahun, mungkin 50 tahun pengalaman mereka menternak lembu. Nak minta pinjaman 10,000 pun tak boleh. Tapi di sini seorang yang tak tahu berkenaan dengan lembu dapat 250 juta. Bila kita sebut, oh, no problem, tak ada masalah. Bila kita tekan, baru sekarang dia kata, oh ya ada masalah, kita akan charge, don't worry. At the same time, they sue Rafizi. Charge him. Itu satu. More recently, what we see in the great Dato' Sri Nazri Aziz, the asset of Malaysia, the greatest asset to us. We are all overwhelmed by this asset that we have. Yeah, asset. Asset apa? Did you see his response to the Malaysia Kini news reporter? Did you read? Kalau ada masa balik malam ini, rujuk transkrip apa yang dia cakap berkenaan dengan reporter. Saya ahli parlimen, bila saya lihat ahli parlimen sebegini, kita rasa malu. Malu. Don't ask me about my son. I don't sleep with him. Another one word I don't want to use. Tak sampai hati lah. With people also I don't want to use. Orang ni macam ni. But he's an asset. Dia nak kotok saya, nak ambil tindakan terhadap saya kerana saya asset. Saya paling baik. Tak tahu ke? This is the kind of arrogance that we see in the Barisan National leadership. And this man is supposed to be minister in charge of Parliament 1. Number 2, minister who is responsible for the Attorney General's chambers. No wonder lah, we can see what's happening in the AG's chambers. I think it all makes sense now. But what we want to see is this. We want to stop this kind of nonsense. We want to bring arrogance, we want to bring ministers like this to an end. What we want is a two-party system. A two-party system where the people decide. The real power in the hands of the people. That is what we want. It doesn't matter if it's Pakatan Rakyat. It doesn't matter if it's Barisan Nasional. You and I today, we are here. Why are we fighting? We are fighting not for us. We are fighting for the generations to come. We are fighting to make sure that whoever is government will listen to the people and not govern for their own gain. This is what Barisan Nasional doesn't understand. This is what Rosma doesn't understand. This is what Najib Tun Razak doesn't understand. Yeah? I don't have, maybe refuse. Yeah? How many minutes left? 0 minutes left. I thought I just started my speech. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very, very happy to see so many of you here today. But as I said earlier, we must remain focused. We must understand why we are doing this. You must understand why there are some people who are prepared to come forward now to say, give us a chance. We will try our best. And I ask all of you here, in these elections, remember one thing. This election is not about Pakatan Rakyat versus Barisan Nasional. It's not about DAP versus UMNO. It's nothing like that. This elections is about you. After 50 over years as an independent nation, Are you now ready to say that we are mature enough politically to have a two-party system? We are now mature enough. We are not afraid. We are brave. We are prepared to send a different government to Putrajaya because we want them to check, to make sure that what Barisan Nasional has done in the last 55 years is right. This is what the message is. And it is up to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you this. Trust me. If you think, and some have said in the last few days, that there is this idea that some of us in the opposition want to remain there forever, think again. That is not what we have in mind. What we have in mind is to break that most important hurdle that faces Malaysians politically. And that is the fact that we have not, in the last 55 years, had two governments as a second government. 2008, prior to that, the main argument by Barisan Nasional, if Barisan Nasional falls in any of the states, if those states are governed by Pakatan, then you are going to see chaos and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to say to you, in the last 4 years, I think Pakatan Rakyat has done reasonably well. We have had our share of shortcomings. There are many problems that are still out there which need to be dealt with. I agree. That is to be expected. But the point is, we have not let you down. We have not allowed this country to go into chaos. We have not allowed any state to go bankrupt. In fact, it's the reverse. Penang has been said to be the best governed state in Malaysia today. In terms of foreign investment, Penang, top 6 again, followed by Selangor. In terms of revenues, we look at how the Kedah state government has turned things around. Kelantan in the last 20 years, no problems. Corruption, almost nil. There is no reason for anybody here to fear putting us in government in Putrajaya. It is up to you. We are prepared. We have shown in the last 4 years that we can. It is now up to you to decide. Are you prepared to allow Pakatan Rakyat to take over federal government in the next elections?
Yes!
Are the people prepared to see a new government led by Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim in the next elections?
Yes!
Can or cannot?
Yes!
Sure or not?
Yes!
Then let us see it happen. Thank you very much. Nandri Wanakam. Yes,